With all the new Pokemon Sun and Moon news lately, it has been awesome seeing all the new gameplay, the new Pokemon, Ultra Beasts, and much more. However, we have yet to see anything about one thing I think we are all curious about: Mega Evolution. Will Mega Evolution actually make a comeback in Sun and Moon? Or will we have to say goodbye to the Mega Evolutions we have all grown to love? Well, today I'm here to provide my thoughts and connect the pieces together on why I believe Mega Evolution will in fact return in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. The concept of Mega Evolution was introduced in the 6th generation in Pokemon X and Pokemon Y, then given more light upon the release of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Mega Evolution is that of a special bond between the trainer and Pokemon, and it only works when you have the Mega Bracelet, and then having a Pokemon such as Swampert holding its respective Mega Stone, in this case being the Swampertite, and then selecting Mega Evolve when selecting the move in battle. The Pokemon then undergoes a form change known as Mega Evolution. But you're sitting there wondering, Hydros, what does this have to do with Mega Evolution in Pokemon Sun and Moon? Well, let me tell you, because Pokemon has plenty of mechanics they have introduced that we still see in the 6th generation today. Over the years, we've had countless mechanics added to the game, especially ones that give Pokemon form changes, whether it be from items, learning a move, or using a move in battle. The given form-changing mechanics we've had added are ones like Meloetta using Relic Song and changing into Purette form introduced in Generation 5. Another change is using certain key items to change a Pokemon's form, just like Hoopa changes using the Prison Bottle into Unbound form, which was introduced in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Shaman changes using the Gracidia Flower into Shaman Sky form, introduced in the 4th generation games Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and the 5th generation games Black and White. Landorus, Thundurus, and Tornadus changes using the Reflective Mirror into their Therian forms, which was introduced in Black and White 2. There's also Keldeo, who changes into Resolute form upon learning a move called Secret Sword, introduced in Black 2 and White 2. And the most notable form change is the fusion mechanic with Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem, changing them into Kyurem Black and Kyurem White, introduced in Black 2 and White 2. All of these form changes were introduced before the 6th generation, and were still brought into the 6th generation because introducing them in previous generations and then not putting them to X and Y in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire would make no sense. These form changes and mechanics were brought into the new generations, some form changes coming from up to 2 generations prior to X and Y in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So why would Pokemon bring those form change mechanics forward and yet introduce Mega Evolution and leave it within the Generation 6 games, and not allow it to be in Sun and Moon? Mega Evolution is just another form change mechanic that was introduced into the Pokemon games. Most likely they will be in Sun and Moon, because if they left out Mega Evolution, then they might as well leave out all other form changes as well, because it would not make any sense to introduce mechanics such as Mega Evolution and leave it out of the next generation when all previous generation form change mechanics were brought through each new generation of Pokemon games. If they bring the form changes from previous gens, it's most likely they will bring Mega Evolution into Sun and Moon, and I have no doubt about that. But that is not all the reasoning that I have for why Mega Evolution will be in Sun and Moon. Now I'm sure that you're all wondering, Hydros, is that all there is to this Mega Evolution and Sun and Moon theory? And the answer is no, there's still much more I have to talk about. Like Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Sun and Moon is giving the most attention to the new Z moves and Z crystals. The Z crystals and Z moves are the main focus of this theory, and how Mega Evolution will tie into Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like Mega Evolution, the Z moves are activated during battle and can only be used once per battle. The Z Ring, much like the Mega Bracelet, activates the Z crystals held by the Pokemon. This is awfully similar to a Pokemon holding a Mega Stone and how Pokemon can only Mega Evolve once per battle. Coincidence? I think not. Before we get more in depth with the Z crystals, I want to talk about some similarities of the Z moves themselves, as well as the animation of activating and using the Z move compared to that of not Pokemon X and Y, not Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but Pokken Tournament. Pokken was a fighting game released on the Wii U a while back. You may be thinking right now, what does Pokken have to do with Sun and Moon and Mega Evolution? Yeah, I know, Pokken is not a part of the main series games, but hear me out for a second. Pokken has a mechanic called Synergy Burst, which allows a Pokemon to gain a sort of powerful aura and then use an ultimate attack versus the opponent. But wait! That sounds oddly similar to the Z move in Pokemon Sun and Moon. In Sun and Moon, when activating a Z move, there's a slight aura that glows around the Pokemon, and then the Pokemon goes on to attack the opposing Pokemon. As you can see here of the gameplay from Pokken and Sun and Moon gameplay from the trailer, there are similar characteristics to that of Synergy Burst and the Z moves. But wait, how does that tie into Mega Evolution, you're asking yourself? Well, let me explain further. In Pokken, when you activate Synergy Burst with a Pokemon that has a Mega Evolution, it first undergoes the Mega Transformation and then attacks with the ultimate move. So what if in Pokemon Sun and Moon, when activating a Z move with a Pokemon that has a Mega Evolution, that it undergoes the Mega Evolution before using the attack? Pokken shows similar characteristics and mechanics in its Synergy Burst attacks, just like Sun and Moon Z moves. Maybe Pokken was testing similar mechanics that they were possibly implementing into Sun and Moon. Except one thing you may be wondering, how can Pokemon Mega Evolve with the Z Crystals when trailers have shown us that Pokemon like Gengar used a Ghost Z Crystal and used a Z move without even Mega Evolving? Well, there's an answer for that as well, and recently came to me with some of the new information we have received within Pokemon Sun and Moon. Pokemon released information regarding a Munchlax event for Sun and Moon, and it comes with a special surprise. It comes with a specific Z Crystal for Snorlax, Snorlium Z. Now at this point we know that every type in the game gets a Z Crystal as shown here by Waterium Z, Grassium Z, and Electrium Z. Generic Z Crystals for each type in the game. But there's also a small clip I want to play for you. Just listen.
What type of Z move a Pokemon can use depends on which Z Crystal the player gives that Pokemon. Some Z moves are exclusive to a specific type of Pokemon and can only be used after a specific Z Crystal is assigned.
So from that we can gather that as stated in the Nintendo 3DS Direct event, it was said that some Z moves are exclusive to a certain type of Pokemon and can only be used after a specific Z Crystal is given to that Pokemon. So we can gather that they mean of course by how Snorlax can use a specific Z move that no other Pokemon can use when it holds the Snorlium Z. However, this could also possibly be hinting at the fact that there are specific Z Crystals for other specific Pokemon. Megas were only given to certain Pokemon. So what if each Pokemon that has a Mega Evolution gets its own Z Crystal that allows it to Mega Evolve? Such as we saw Gengar using a Z move as just Gengar in the trailer, but what if there's a Mega Crystal for Gengar that allows it to Mega Evolve into Mega Gengar, then using its specific Z move? Given that they say there are specific Z Crystals for certain Pokemon to use their own Z move, you can most likely gather that Mega Pokemon are not going to be left out in some shape or form. Now there's also the possibility of there being one Z Crystal that allows you to Mega Evolve a Pokemon upon using its Z move in battle, which a Z move is only able to be used once in battle, just like that of Mega Evolution. So the mechanics are similar in that regards and could quite possibly be linked together with each other. In my opinion, the new Mega Stones are the Z Crystals, or quite possibly there is only one Z Crystal, the Mega Z Crystal that is universal. Unlike the generic typing Z Crystals where there is only one per type, there could be the possibility that there is only one Z Crystal that allows Mega Evolution. Now I say this as well because programming a Z Crystal for each Mega Pokemon could be a lot of work into the game. So what if there was a rainbow-like crystal that holds the Mega Evolution symbol, that acts as the Z Crystal and Mega Stone for any Pokemon that has a Mega Evolution? Which could also make sense because you can only use a Mega once per battle, and also Z moves can only be used once per battle, so having the Z Crystal that can be used on any Pokemon with a Mega allows the player to Mega Evolve that one Pokemon, as well as use the Z move that they are allowed to use once per battle. But I would not rule out the possibility of a Z Crystal made specifically for each Pokemon that has a Mega Evolution, such as Gengarium Z for Gengar, Alakazam Z for Alakazam, and so on and so forth. It is possible to code each specific Z Crystal for each Mega Pokemon, or they could just put one Z Crystal in the game that can Mega Evolve any Pokemon with a Mega Evolution as well. Honestly, I think the option of having multiple Z Crystals would be better, but that is just my opinion. Like the clip said, some Pokemon have a Z move that can only be used after holding a specific Z Crystal, which could hint at Mega Pokemon will have their own Z Crystals to activate in battle, Mega Evolve their Pokemon, and then using their Z move against the opponent. Again, there could only be one Z Crystal that can act as the Mega Crystal for any Mega Pokemon, but my guess is that there will be a Z Crystal for each Mega Pokemon. One more thing I would like to point out. In this clip from a trailer, they showed the character animation for when they activated their Z moves doing the stances for the Z Crystals. However, there was one stance at the end that stood out because it was not like any of the others. Well, it was not like the Z move stance, but it was oddly similar to a stance we've seen in previous games. I'm talking about the Mega Evolution animation from X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. If you see in the clip, there's a rainbow hue around the Z-ring, which oddly seems similar to the rainbow color seen in the Mega Evolution symbol. And also, if we compare the stances from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire to Sun and Moon, the way the character holds the arm up is very similar to the way the character from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire holds their arm up to Mega Evolve their Pokemon. So with that, my conclusion from all of this is that Mega Evolution isn't going anywhere. It will be back in Sun and Moon. As they said in the Sun and Moon reveal trailer, it all comes together, and it makes sense that Z-moves and Mega Evolution come together in this generation of Pokemon. They show us things in trailers for a reason, and I hope that I was able to piece together for you guys in a way that shows Mega Evolution will actually return. My opinion, again, is that there will be a Z Crystal for each Mega Pokemon, or only one could be used with any Mega Pokemon. Some stuff may seem like a stretch to put together, but remember guys, this was entirely based on opinion and speculation regarding Mega Evolution in Sun and Moon. I had fun putting this together, and I worked hard bringing you guys the ultimate Mega Evolution theory for Pokemon Sun and Moon. If you agree or disagree with anything I had to say, please feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more Pokemon content, and have a fantastic day.